July 14th, 2003, is the exact date on which the US government officially revealed the existence of the mysterious Area 51 base. Since its revelation, thousands and thousands of theories, conjectures, and hypotheses have been built around it. The intense secrecy surrounding the base and the fact that its main objective is undetermined have contributed to raising them. Thus, there has been speculation about contacts with extraterrestrial beings, development of weapons of mass destruction, and horrible experiments with human beings. Area 51 is one of the topics that inspire the most conspiracy theories around the world. Many would give anything just to be able to get a little closer and glimpse even a portion of what it actually hides. One of the many stories circulating about what happens inside Area 51 is what is considered the most extreme human experiment in history: the Abigail Project. This story was leaked by a former cleaner who worked at the site in question, who agreed to reveal this story at the cost of his own life because he was unable to continue carrying the heavy burden of keeping this secret. It all started in 1945, after World War II had ended. At this time, Area 51 operated under the name Indian Springs Air Force Auxiliary Camp. According to our source, the base had been built for the development and secret safekeeping of advanced weapons. The base continued this purpose until, in the midst of the Cold War and the constant threat of war with the Soviet Union, the government approved the use of this base for biological experiments. The government considered the development of biological weapons crucial to maintain its world hegemony and arms superiority over other nations. This is how one of the most important and best reputed scientists of the place, Albert Weston, decided to start a project whose main objective was to create a super soldier. Dr. Weston desired a kind of Captain America, extremely strong and robust, whose wounds healed quickly and could withstand extreme fatigue, harsh conditions, and very long periods without eating or drinking. Unfortunately, the procedures to carry out such a crazy vision were not clear, so no one was willing to offer themselves as a guinea pig for a project whose methodology was not defined, and receive who knows how many kinds of substances and mutilations in order to make Weston fulfill his dream. It was almost a suicide. In addition to this, the person experimented on had to be someone of complete confidence. This is, someone without friends or family who were able to denounce the project publicly and sue the base or government of the United States. The first options were vagrants or prisoners, but Weston needed a completely healthy individual with excellent physical and moral condition. So, after much thought, Weston made a decision. The right person to receive the experiment was his own daughter, Abigail. Abigail Weston was a young university student who studied to follow in her father's footsteps, and perhaps one day become an Area 51 scientist like him. Weston loved his daughter, but he was a stubborn man who tirelessly pursued his goals, no matter the cost. If he had to subject his own daughter to a risky experiment whose success was uncertain to save America, then so be it. He managed to convince Abigail to agree, and the Abigail Project began. The girl underwent all kinds of surgeries and implants and substance tests. She was mutilated, drugged, and exposed to torture. Nobody saw how all those humiliations were going to develop the supposed super soldier that Weston intended, but the changes began to be noticed after a while. Abigail's appearance had changed drastically. Her bones had grown enormously. but the skin had stretched a lot too, so that it looked wrinkled on her elongated arms. Her teeth were also growing gigantic, and her behavior was becoming more animalistic and less rational. Several colleagues of the scientist urged him to stop the Abigail Project, that it was outside the limits of all human and scientific action, that the project had been diverted, and now the damage was irrecoverable. But Weston, in his arrogance, was willing to take the experiment to its ultimate consequences. It was not that he hated his daughter. On the contrary, she was the most precious thing for him. However, he knew that if they ended the project, the young woman would die immediately, since her disfigured body now depended on the technology and conditions that were in the base to survive. Some employees of Area 51, the cooks, revealed to the man who leaked this story that they were ordered to prepare huge plates of food that they had to introduce through a slot in the room, sealed with a steel door. They never knew for sure what was behind it, but that there were many rumors about the kind of monster that was inside. They also said that on several occasions they managed to see Weston standing in front of the door, crying or talking to his creature. Eventually, Abigail ended up losing what was left of her human rationing. She became a beast. The Abigail Project had officially failed, and Dr. Weston realized what a mistake he had made. He had subjected his daughter to endless ailments without sufficient scientific criteria. And for what? He had only managed to turn his beloved and beautiful girl into a wild and lethal monster, which only saw him as sustenance. With nothing to continue living for, Albert Weston committed suicide in 1947, but not before strongly begging that his daughter not be murdered, that they try to return her to normal, or at least leave her alive. The government was not willing to continue spending money on that failed project, but out of respect for Dr. Weston's reputation, they fulfilled the part of leaving her alive. They were not going to kill her directly, but they would let hunger take away that monster. They stopped providing any food or medical care for poor Abigail. As a result, on the first night, many employees of the base reported hearing howls and loud scratches. At one point, the alarms went off, but when the head of the base went to check, to his surprise, the steel door was knocked down, and the monster was not there. A while later, the remains of 2 guards were found. The creature had run away, hungry. An extensive search and capture operation was immediately carried out within and around the base. Although an attempt was made to annihilate the creature, bullets and explosives did not seem to seriously damage it. So, once they managed to surround it in an underground area of the base, they decided to trap it in there and seal the area under layers of steel and concrete. It has been more than 70 years since the Abigail Project, and there are still Area 51 employees who claim that in the Western Wing, behind the walls, and especially under the floor, you can hear choked scratches and grunts from time to time. The question is, how has Abigail survived for so long without food or water? Perhaps Weston's project wasn't as much as a failure as he thought. Maybe, if he continued to test other subjects, he would eventually have managed to create his dreamed invincible soldier. But the question we should be asking is this: if starvation, thirst, bullets, or explosives can't kill her, what can? Today, Abigail is believed to be one of the reasons why Area 51 is so sheltered. They don't know what it is, and they don't know how to fight it. They fear that if some curious person comes across it one day, or if the creature manages to escape, things would undoubtedly end very badly for everyone.